Imagine stepping into a place where we're growing and expanding into the type of leader that other leaders are attracted to and are looking for. The type of leader that our Creator made us to be. Imagine stepping into, living into, growing into that place. Do you see it? You feel it? We hope you do. And we're here to grow and to live into that place with you. I'm Robert Arthur. This is my dear friend, one of my closest mentors in my life. Also my big brother from another mother, Jim Rhodes. You there, Jim?
Good morning. I am. Thank you, Robert. Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And this is what we've coined, if you will, the servant leader chats. Our goal and our mission, I'll just kind of summarize mine. Part of my goal is Jim and I, alongside each and every one of you, is to co-create a group of leaders who are committed to a mission of serving others by example. And so we're going to be covering topics and stories and challenges. Yes, challenges. We're all warriors here, to help us grow and expand into not just saying it and writing it down, but being and living that the leader that is truly masterful at serving others and empowering and inspiring others around them. So that's kind of a summary of my overall mission, if you will, for this journey that we're on, and these chats as well. Jim, what's your goal here?
My goal would be, quite often I need, because I will forget just what it is I'm doing, and I need that uplift. And this would be a go-to thread for me to be inspired by someone who has the same values that I do, who would be able to remind me, actually, I guess that's the word, to help me remember literally who I am and what I'm capable of, and drop into that moment of gratitude just by a chat and a listen to some uplifting thoughts. And that's a big part of my mission.
I love hearing that, Jim. So again, we're very joyfully and very proudly proclaiming that part of what drives us. This morning, the topic is becoming crystal clear on our why, our purpose, what brings us joy. And one of the things that drives Jim and I forward is our faith. So I'm going to ask Jim to lead us into a short blessing. So
I will, and I would like to, before I do that, just do a little preamble of something that my mother-in-law taught me, well, quite a time ago, because today just happens to be my 51st wedding anniversary to my sweetheart, Kathy.
Congrats.
And before, actually, I got to marry her on our engagement period of time of getting to know each other. My mother-in-law took me aside as I was about to start a new venture in business, and she said, make the Lord your business partner. The wisdom of this lady has made sense ever since, because she said, if you'll make him your business partner as well as your partner in your everyday life, I want you to think about one question: has he ever failed? Imagine having him as your partner. So as I invite him to do that for us, I'll just say this, if that's okay. Our Father in heaven, how grateful we are for each other and this beautiful world which has been created with the abundance in it for us to enjoy. We are grateful for each other and the inspiration we get when we're around each other, and remembering that we are truly sons and daughters of thee. Please bless this day and all those who need the things that we can bring to them to bless their lives. And then we ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
So with your permission, let's just give you a little summary of what we're going to be covering in the next few minutes. And then we're going to jump into the subject at hand, make it really fun, and help us find some ownership around that as well, so we can apply it and then live it. So again, the topic of the day is to getting crystal clear again on what brings us joy, how to get more clarity around one of the main fuels, if you will, of what drives any entrepreneurial endeavor or any endeavor, period. It's tying in that endeavor and that journey to a higher calling or even a deeper purpose. The two extremes of a higher pull and maybe a deeper push, something like that. And so Jim and I both are going to share a short story because we love stories. And then we're going to share some content. And part of the content will be tied to, then we're going to take that content and say, here's a challenge. Remember, who's a warrior on the line? Are you a warrior? I step into that place. So if you're raising your hand or nodding your head, or your heart is saying, yes, let's step into that place, then we're going to have fun together. So we're all going to give you a challenge that Jim and I, Carol here is live with us, are taking on. And then we're going to revisit that and kind of debrief on that challenge on Friday as we move forward. So here's a simple yet very insightful story, and I call it the stonemason story. And what I want you to picture is you, with your family, magically you travel over to Europe. And we're going to rewind the clock a little bit, roughly 120, 130 years ago. And they were creating a lot of different churches, cathedrals in that area. So you're strolling along one of the villages and you see these group of stonemasons. And there's a piece of the ground prepared, and you walk up and you see the first stonemason, and he's kind of slapping some stones down and putting the mortar on. Not taking a lot of time, but you tap him on the shoulder. He turns around kind of rudely, say, yes. What do you want? What's up? And you say, what are you guys doing? It looks interesting. He said, well, thanks. But I'm just laying some stones here and just getting my work in today so I can get home. And I said, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And carry on. He does, turns her back around and gets back to it again. So you approach the next stonemason, and he's taken a little more time. You can see he takes more pride in his work, and he's carefully measuring, putting the stone on, putting the right mortar in, getting it right. You tap him on the shoulder. Sir, what are you doing? He turns around and says, oh, thanks. I'm actually part of this team of people. We're creating this wall here of stone. And yeah, I'm thankful to be here. Thanks. Oh, thank you, sir. And then you approach the third stonemason. He looks more like a dancer, looks more like an artist. You could tell that he can sense where he's putting things. You see him stand up and get a bigger picture. He finds the ideal, the perfect stone for that placement, puts it on there, gets the right balance, gets the big picture again, and artfully puts the mortar in just the right place. And man, he takes so much pride in what he's doing. And he's actually, you can kind of faintly hear he's whistling a tune, and you tap him on the shoulder. He kind of springs around. Yeah, how can I help you? I said, sir, what are you doing? He said, wow, I'm so glad you asked. I'm part of this group of artists here. And we're creating, first of all, this, you see, it's just a stone wall for now. What will eventually be is this beautiful cathedral. And I'm so excited because when we get this cathedral done, beautiful weddings will be held. People will come and celebrate the birth of a miracle of life. People will come to worship their Creator. It's going to be a beautiful place of sanctuary and love and joy. Wow. So ask yourself the question, which of those stonemasons do we see ourselves being in this business? Are we just slapping the brick down? Are we just talking to the next person to achieve the next little bonus, the next little a few dollars? Or are we the second stonemason where we're actually, yeah, we know we're part of a team, although we're kind of just in the motion. We're not quite sure, not fully committed, maybe not stepping into a place of where you desire to be masterful at a higher level? Or are you the third stonemason where you know deep within yourself and deep within your heart that this is truly a way to connect your God-given talent and passion and energy to help people heal, to help families come together, to help people create more magical moments so they can be and live the life they desire? Which one are you? So when we become clear on why and what brings us more joy and how to achieve that, that's when everything changes.
I will say amen to that one, Robert. In fact, when we find our mission, truly, it leaves fingerprints every time we engage in it. I've discovered this some time ago that these are three of the fingerprints that clearly show up when we're on our own mission task of what I believe God created us for, to be here, to have positive influence, not just in our own lives, but especially the ones we love and those we will meet in life. And each of those three are one. When you're engaged in that mission, you never want it to end. Have you ever had one of those moments when you'll be talking to somebody and you're just there and you're going, this feels so good. And it is a feeling and it's in your heart. So you never want it to end. You actually, number two fingerprint is you lose track of time. What seems like a moment might have been 10 minutes or even 30 or an hour. You totally lose track of time because of the third fingerprint, which is you're 100% engaged. It draws you to it. So when any of those three fingerprints show up all together, you know you're on task, you're on mission. One or two of them, you're doing something in that field. Find out more about that, because that's why I love this thread that you've created. Is each of us need that inspiration, and these moments of the story you just shared, I will remember. I want to be the third Mason. I truly, that drives my heart. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So one reason why the artist slash stonemason was so good and talented and passionate about what he was doing is what? Here are the fingerprints, once again, that Jim just shared. So it had become something beyond work to him. So he had kind of lost track of time because he was so involved in the process of creating the cathedral, not just the wall, but the more, and the end result is these beautiful moments with families and worship and so forth. So, and he didn't want it to end. And that, well, yes, he became tired at the end of the day and he deserved a rest and home with his family. But he was enjoying and finding purpose in the moment. And he was 100% committed to finishing this work of art. So here's our challenge that Jim and I would like to extend to ourselves first. Yes, we're doing this challenge with you. That's called accountability, isn't it, Jim? Which is a key word.
Wow. May I say something about, before you throw out this challenge, accountability increases your possibilities and your efforts by about 90% success rate versus 10 without accountability. Go out and do, come back and report. That is an eternal principle.
I love that. Go out and do, the keyword do, and
Yep,
then come back and report to a group of fellow warriors
exactly.
who are
Okay,
also
say the
holding.
first sentence again.
Say
Tim,
again.
that accountability increases your,
It increases your success ratio by 90%.
okay,
The go out and do and come back and report is in the back of your head. Each of us need to be acknowledged when we do, and hopefully we hear well done.
yeah.
Versus, gosh, you have all these talents that you've been gifted with, and you forgot to do anything with them, and they stay hidden. They aren't of value for the work that I put you here for.
Wow.
Right.
Kind of that thought.
Wasted. Okay, I just want to get that first sentence down on my notes, so.
Great question.
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Carol. And many times more effective, again, when we're accountable. So it's a two-part challenge. Part one, part two. Part one is find yourself, create some space. I'm gonna invite you to create a space of, say, it may be just 10 minutes. Ideally, it'd be more like 20 or minutes or so. Find a place you feel secure in, you feel at peace in, whether it's on a walk like Jim is, or whether it's by the lake for us, or could be a special place in your home, or a certain time of day when you know the house will be quiet. And what I do is I put my certain type of music on. I create my space. I may say a prayer to just ground myself in gratitude. And then what I would ask you to do is think back through your life, kind of rewind different chapters, and ask yourself the question, what parts of my life where when I was actually in motion doing something, okay, where I lost track of time. Remember the 3 fingerprints. You were losing track of time. You didn't want it to end, and you were 100% in it. And maybe even some additional fingerprints would be a sense of joy, a sense of fulfillment. Maybe you're a little nervous going into it, and then once you were in it, if you were me, maybe you were stuttering getting into it, but once you were in it, things just kind of expanded. And just start writing. If you're walking, I do this all the time. I just have a note, one of my notes on my phone, or even do a little, if you're walking, even do a little video. Say, okay, here are my times that brought me joy, and then I'm doing a video while I'm walking or whatever. And then so you can get home and decompress and write them down. So the point is, part number one of this challenge is we ideally would have written down 5, 6, 7, 10 or more of these activities we've done that, again, we lost sense of time. We didn't want it to end. We were 100% in it. It was bringing us joy and fulfillment, and become real clear on that. And then as you write some of these episodes down, you'll start seeing a theme attached. Like some of mine, or if I would just off the cuff, I've done this exercise in different forms over the years. One is crossing the finish line. I won state in cross country running. It was a sense of fulfillment because I had ran and put miles and miles in. And then the other, speaking of my sporting endeavors, I was over in Europe, and time literally stood still. And I shot every arrow into the bullseye. It was like, remember Chariots of Fire where things slowed down? Well, when I skied up to this range on my skis and my bow, everything literally slowed down, and I could literally see the arrow kind of following this line, tunnel of light, and every arrow went in the bullseye. I would ski some more, every arrow went, but it was that moment when I skied up to the range, because I had shot so arrow after arrow after arrow after arrow, where I was in that flow, the zone. So I'm just giving you some examples. And then when I look back at my list, and like when I was on stage with David Wood and one of my Toastmasters, and I was sharing a message full of my theme was stepping into your power. And I saw people's kind of light come on. I saw people leaning in and their belief in themselves and that they could do anything kind of lit up. And so I saw this theme occur, and I realized that my top 3 activities that bring me joy, which I strove to have more, and my part of my purpose and calling, it involved adventure, it involved helping people heal through the healing process, and it involved helping people turn that inner light of belief on. So it was tied to my training and teaching, which is helping that light come on, okay? Helping people step into their God-given power and light. And then number 2, it was tied to, that's why all my network marketing of 26 years, crazy enough, have been tied to wellness and health. Not and this, again, everybody's unique, but it wasn't technology, it wasn't this, it wasn't this. It was a tangible product that helped people heal, to help people find optimal vital health. Remember, healing is a non-compliant word. So help people find optimal health. How's that? To nourish the body so the body, again, can turn on and we can live life up here versus struggling down here. And then the third thing, all my calling in my life is to help people and lead by example to find adventure in life. And adventure can be a new culture. One of our, a month in Malaysia, whatever the adventure was. And to bring my grandkids along and my family along. So that's some examples. Write these things down. And part two, write those down. Part 2 is to create a Facebook Live. And I'm gonna give you a suggestion for the title. One example is, hey, I found 3 secrets to finding joy. That's what I'm going to label mine. I found 3 secrets to finding more joy and purpose. Feel free to borrow that, or you could, there's other means and ways you could call it. So that's the challenge that I'm stepping into. And when I do that Facebook Live, I'm basically going to share from my heart these 3 fingerprints where I lost track of time, didn't want to end. I was 100% in it. And here, those are the fingerprints and the telltales, and now tie that into your life. And then we share 3 of our top joy fulfilling, purpose creating activities. That's the challenge. And then we bring that to the call Friday, or you bring it to the thread. That's our challenge for this week.
Wonderful challenge.
And there. Okay. The challenge for this week is, say it again.
It's a 2-part. Find your quiet space. Write down several activities. Hone them down to the top 3. Then do a Facebook Live and you can title it some version of, I found 3 secrets to finding more joy and purpose. And then on the Facebook Live, you become a teacher. Remember, one of the goals in our business and one of the best ways to take ownership of anything is to do it and also to turn around and teach it.
Right. So we share 3 of the.
You share 3 fingerprints and 3 activities. That's the Facebook Live. Here are the 3 secrets of finding what brings us more joy and purpose. And then because of these 3 fingerprints, here's my 3 activities that bring me more joy that is in alignment with what I now do. You don't have to even explain what we do. We're just sharing how to find them, how to get there, and then my 3.
Okay.
All right. So Jim, you want to sum this up? Because we got 2 minutes left.
My summary is, I hope this thread for every one of our wellness warriors brings clarity in finding their why today. By doing this activity and being able to be brave enough to make it live, you become the teacher right there. And what we do grows and we become better at it. And then we never lose this talent which we are developing and is already in us. We just have to step out of our comfort zone and do it. And that's why this challenge is so good for each of us who are on this thread, in my opinion, of finding our 3 fingerprints, part of our mission, learning how to articulate it, and then sharing that in a brief moment with anyone we bump into or who the Lord would place in our path that day, that we can bless with that knowledge to help them do the same.
Yes. No, I totally agree with that. So thank you, Jim. And the goal is, again, keep it 5 to 7 minutes and just step into it. And my key thought in summary is it's about being perfectly imperfect, being real and authentic. That's what people are looking for more of, is authentic leaders. So Jim, love and light to you, Carol, anybody watching this, Diane, and step into our challenge. You'll see Jim and I doing our Facebook Live shortly, and along with Carol and Diane, I'm sure. And then ideally, you would also do a little mini version on our thread called Z Wellness Warriors. And so we can all be accountable and grow together.
Thank you, Robert. Bless you all. Have an incredible day. I am so grateful for you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.